Welcome back, developers. Today's quest is to help Airbnb hosts everywhere. Whether you yourself are a property manager or you want to start helping out other Airbnb owners help manage their guests and make their customer experience better, today we're going to make an app that's going to allow Google and Alexa to serve as the butler for any Airbnb. We're going to start off by opening up a command line or terminal. Go ahead and run jovo new, the name of your directory, and then we're going to use the template unit testing. I'll have the link to this code in the description. The name, go ahead and name it the name of your GitHub, and then hyphen the name of, Airbnb, because that's the name of our quest. Jovo is going to set up the entire project, a unit testing project for you. It's going to include test cases as well as a getting started app. So then we want to test that the app's working right now by running jovo run. Oh, looks like I was in the wrong folder. So I'll make sure to change directory into the Jovo folder that we just created, Sweetman Tech Airbnb. Now we'll run jovo run and launch our Jovo server. In a second command prompt, we're going to change directory into the same project folder. And in this one, while the server is running, we're going to run npm test. That'll run our test cases, and we'll actually see that 3 of our tests passed and 1 failed, just as the template is supposed to. The template's supposed to have 3 test cases that pass and 1 fail. Now let's open up your favorite code editor of choice and go to the test folder in the sample tests file. We're going to remove a lot of the test cases from here, and we're just going to have one single test case as test-driven development for this project. With test-driven development, there is a cycle where you start by writing tests, and then you write code, and then you refactor, and then you repeat. But you start, rather than by writing code first and then testing later, we start by writing test cases which validate our functionality. That way, when we turn in our projects, or when we publish our projects, or when we deploy our projects, however the end state is for you, we can prove to our customers that all the features that we sold to them work and that they're not going to break no matter how the app scales. And when it does break, we can create just a new test case that makes sure that we're always testing to make sure that our apps stay up and they stay scalable and they stay sustainable. We'll leave the first described the same as the platform builder, which will say either Alexa skill or Google action. We will change the inner described to be the launch intent, and then for the this is just a documentation, but it should return a welcome message to the Airbnb guest. Let's run the test cases again and see what happens. All right, it looks like our test case fails. Perfect. With test-driven development, we always want our test case to fail first, then we only write enough code to get it to pass. In that case, we need our hello Airbnb intent, because hello world doesn't really make sense in a production app. Hello anything really doesn't make sense, but today we'll keep it kind of simple, just kind of change the name from hello world to hello Airbnb as our demo Airbnb app. We'll have the follow-up state, which you can use to add in more services as your app grows. We'll make it main service state rather than introduction state. Once we've done that, we want to copy the text that we have and paste that over in our app.js. This is the response that Alexa is going to respond with once a customer engages our app. Because it's in the launch intent, it's going to be the response as soon as Alexa or Google are triggered. We'll relaunch the server because we changed our app.js file. And running our test cases again, we can see that we have now added enough code to get our test cases to pass. What I want to do now is refactor the code. This is making it so that our code is more readable but does not change any functionality. In this case, we're going to use the speech builder object, which is provided by the Jovo framework. Inside of the speech builder, I'm going to add text, and I'm going to add this first block of text, which is my speech. After that, I'm going to copy that block of code. That way I can make my reprompt variable. Speech is what Alexa or Google initially respond with, and if customers don't respond within 10 seconds, then they will reprompt them, which you can make a separate text. In this case, rather than reading out that entire intro, I'm going to make it easier for our Airbnb guests by just including the how can I help you. That way, if they sat there, they were trying to process everything, but they forgot what Alexa had asked or Google had asked, we can remind them by saying, how can I help you? Then we'll replace the variable name. And now, because we've made a change, we're going to go ahead and relaunch our server and run our test cases again to make sure we didn't break anything. And it looks like we've had a successful refactor. Now let's head over to actually put our Alexa skill and Google action live, so that way we can run it on any of our Alexa devices. Run over to Alexa Developer and go to that website. Go to your Alexa console in Skills, and we will create a skill. Call it Airbnb Dev Quest, and click Create Skill. Leave it as a start from scratch and choose Continue. And then we'll go through the skill builder checklist. First, make an invocation name. Name it My Butler. And then we'll save and build the model. With Alexa, we do need to add in an intent and then give it a sample utterance. Because I don't care what it is, I'm just going to make a quick intent that we're going to throw away later. Definitely want to make sure you don't leave this in the code though. Having stuff like this is in production code is not good. But because we just want to build the model, we're going to go ahead and build it. Once we've saved and built the model, the next thing we need to do is add in our endpoint for our locally running Jovo server. We'll copy that webhook URL and paste it in the service endpoint. Make sure you mark the first option that you have a trusted development endpoint. Click the Save button up top. And now we can test our application. You can go ahead and once you flip this switch to enable tests on any of your Alexa enabled devices or in the Amazon Alexa app or in the Amazon shopping app, go ahead and say My Butler and see what happens. So now that we've got our Alexa app working, let's head over to get our Google action up. Google actions are created using Dialogflow. Let's create a new agent and call it Airbnb Dev Quest and create that. Once the agent's created, we'll copy the webhook URL again, and we'll go down to the Fulfillment tab, turn on webhook, and then paste our Jovo URL. Click the Save button at the bottom. Then we can click the Google Assistant button on the right menu to launch actions on Google and go ahead and try out our app on the Google Assistant. At this point, if you have any Google devices that are signed into your developer account, you can say, okay Google, talk to my test app to see what happens. I've opened up in another tab the Jovo debugger so that way we can see the response from our app. It looks like we got the response that we weren't expecting. So let's head over to the Intents tab inside of the default welcome intent, and when we scroll down to the bottom, we'll actually see it got the response from these pre-programmed responses that were hard-coded. Open up the Fulfillment tab and click Enable Webhook Call for this intent, and then click Save. Head back to the simulator and click Talk to my test app. This time, Google successfully welcomes us to the Airbnb and asks how she can help. Thanks for completing another dev quest. Be sure to check out the Git repository in the bottom where all of our open source coders have stored their projects, and add your project so that other people can learn from you. Thanks for helping us. Continue to hack, continue to learn, and voice first.